special web series on Rh negative incompatibility and isoimmunization. I'm Anisha Nair Dhawan, your host for the evening, and you're watching our exclusive show on Rh negative blood group and its impact on pregnancy. Now, a healthy pregnancy is a celebration for the entire family to welcome a new member. But there are a few things that parents should be aware of when they start planning a family. One of these issues is Rh incompatibility. This occurs when a pregnant woman whose blood group is Rh negative, for example, B negative, is exposed to Rh positive blood from a fetus, say, for example, B positive. Because of this incompatibility, the mother develops Rh antibodies which have the potential to cross the placenta and attach or destroy the fetus's red blood cells. This causes the fetus to become anemic. In severe cases, the baby may need special blood transfusions called exchange transfusions, either before birth, which is the intrauterine fetal transfusions, or after delivery. So, today we're going to talk about Rh negative blood group and its impact on pregnancy. And to guide you for that and to answer all your queries on this subject, we have with us Dr. Sharmishta Ganguly, consultant obstetrics and gynecologist at and laparoscopic surgeon at NRS Medical College, Kolkata. Welcome to the show, Dr. Ganguly.
Good evening, everyone.
But before I begin the conversation, I would like to request all our viewers who are viewing this online to keep sending us your questions. Ma'am is going to talk about, this whole Rh negative incompatibility. And if there's any question that comes to your mind, type it into the comment box, and we will try to answer as many as we can over the next 30 minutes or so. Please do like and comment with your feedback, and do share this special show on your wall, or if you find your friends and family may get benefit from it, so do share it with them as well. So let's begin, Dr. Ganguly. Now, this Rh negative incompatibility, how many people does it really impact? If you see the entire population, is this a very serious issue in our country?
Yeah, see, first of all, I am working in a government setup, and it's a medical college in the heart of the city. So I must say that there are many antenatal patients who are not yet tested for their blood group. We get many patients.
You're
So
saying in their adulthood
yeah,
also they do not know
many,
their
many.
blood
There
group.
are many. There are many patients we get
Hmm.
till today. Like when they come for their first pregnancy antenatal checkup, we don't have the report of their blood group. So it's always necessary to get your blood group tested first. And the
Hmm.
incidence of Rh negative pregnancy will be somewhere around 3 to 4%. So in a month, if I see 300 patients, we would get around some 10 to 20 patients where the blood group will be Rh negative. Then comes the issue of Rh isoimmunization with the use of NTD very rampantly and frequently. The issue of alloimmunization, or what you say Rh isoimmunization, has really come down a lot. But for that, at least we need to know the blood group of the patients, because it happens most of the times that they don't know they are getting pregnant. Some miscarriages are taking place. In that case, the isoimmunization takes place.
Mhm.
But with
So,
the advent of NTD, it has really come down a lot.
so are you saying that people don't test their blood group, or are you saying they don't know such an issue could arise during a pregnancy? Where is the ignorance? Is it about knowing your blood group, or about issues that arise during pregnancy?
Yeah, both. It's people, still there are people who are not testing their blood group even before getting pregnant, or unknowingly they are getting pregnant, unknowingly they are landing up with spontaneous abortion and miscarriages, and they don't have the report of the blood group. They are not getting tested, might be because of the ignorance or whatever, but we still are getting, we are patients like that.
So, Dr. Ganguly, for all those who are watching, what is the problem? Say I never got my blood group tested, and I don't know why. I may not even have realized that I had a miscarriage, an early miscarriage. What is the real problem? What should I be aware of if I'm planning a family and as a prospective mother, I am Rh negative? What should I be aware of, and what should I plan for?
First of all, I would say that every pregnancy should be planned, because there are a lot of issues now. there are spontaneous abortions, there are hypothyroidism, and there are other medical conditions which can lead to spontaneous.
Is RH incompatibility? Who is affected? Is the mother affected? Is the father affected? Is the baby affected? As much as I understand that what happens is that mother has negative blood, the baby somehow has positive blood, and they mix. And once they mix, the mother produces antibodies. Now, how can the blood of the child and the mother mix?
Right. Let me put it in a very simple way. Whenever a patient is getting pregnant for the first time, patient is Rh negative. The baby, we don't know the status of the baby. The baby might be Rh negative. The baby might be Rh positive. So whenever the first time patient is conceiving, it will not affect the pregnancy at all. The baby will be healthy. Even if father is Rh negative, I am not going into the details because again there are certain issues regarding father's blood group. Second time, what happens if the patient has not taken NTD, those positive blood cells of the fetus, if the baby was Rh positive, that will create some antibodies in the maternal blood. Those antibody will stay in the maternal blood and it will affect the second time when the patient she conceives. And those antibody will destroy the baby when she conceives for the second time. So to protect the baby, the second time you are getting pregnant, you have to take certain drug or certain injection that will coat those antibodies, and that is the role of the anti-D. Hence, you have to be very, very careful when you are getting pregnant.
Right. Does this happen to all women who are Rh negative?
No, it's not like that. If there is suppose the patient has undergone certain some procedure like CVS in early pregnancy, if the patient has unknowingly she underwent some blunt trauma to the abdomen, if there is a ectopic pregnancy, if there is a miscarriage, and unknowingly what happens today, the abortifacients are available over the counter. If the patient is taking some abortifacient, she's taking that abortifacient and she is not even bothered to test her blood group. This will ultimately affect when she conceives for the second time if she hasn't taken the NTD in the first time, and some fetal-maternal hemorrhage has happened.
All right. Dr. Ganguly, we have a few questions that have started coming in from Facebook users who are watching the show. And if there are more questions come to your mind, start typing them in. So one Facebook user is asking, does it occur only if hemorrhage occurs, or every negative mother develops this antibody?
Whenever there is a delivery, whenever a patient is conceiving, she has to deliver her baby. During the process of delivery, there is certain amount of mixing of maternal and fetal blood. There is certain amount. It's always, if there is more than that quantity, it will definitely result in production of antibody. And to stop that, we are giving NTD to the mother. But in early pregnancy, sometimes unknowingly it happens that some amount of fetal-maternal hemorrhage is going on. Might be we are not able to detect, there is no ultrasound, or the patient is unaware. So we need to keep that also in mind, that might be unknowingly some amount of hemorrhage has occurred. The best solution is to take a NTD always.
All right. Another question that we have is that a Facebook user is asking, do Rh negative women with first trimester spontaneous abortions need Rh immune globulin?
The amount of fetal-maternal hemorrhage in case of a spontaneous abortion is very, very less. It's not that amount which will affect the baby when you conceive second time. But if you take a NTD, is always beneficial, is not at all harmful, because you never know the amount of fetal-maternal hemorrhage. There are certain sophisticated tests like Kleher-Bettkes count where we do and we see the amount of hemorrhage, but that is practically not possible in every case. And most of the times we don't have the facility also to test the amount of fetal-maternal hemorrhage. There's nothing goes wrong if you just take a shot of NTD.
Okay, it's fairly safe.
Yeah, it's very safe and it won't harm you. Rather, it will be always beneficial.
All right. We have another question from a Facebook user. What if someone is going for ligation after delivery and does not want to go for any further pregnancy? Should the mother be given NTD in this case?
Right, a very pertinent question, but just tell me, in a country like ours where the infant mortality rate is high, where the under 5 childhood mortality rate is high. We don't know tomorrow what happens. It might be possible that the patient can go for a third pregnancy, might some accident might occur, or we never know, the patient might marry for a second time and can she might be wishes to conceive again.
So you would recommend that they
It's
take it.
always, even if the patient has undergone a sterilization operation, or if the couple wishes that they don't want to conceive anymore, still the patient must take anti-D injection.
Right. The next question coming in from a Facebook user is, in which trimester of pregnancy is this therapy most effective?
We have two school of thoughts regarding this. Our American ACOG, our American college, tells us to give us anti-D injection prophylactically at 28 weeks of gestation once, and within 72 hours of delivery. In first trimester, if the patient faces any kind of bleeding episode, or if there is a miscarriage or any intervention, that time also the patient should take anti-D injection.
Right.
So routinely twice in pregnancy, once in 28 weeks and once immediately after delivery, that is within 72 hours.
All right. The next question coming in from a Facebook user is Rh negative blood genetic? Is it passed on the genes?
Yes, blood group is genetically determined, definitely.
So are you saying if I am Rh negative and if I have a daughter, good chance I'll pass it on to my daughter?
Yes. Blood group is genetically determined, definitely.
All right. The next question coming in is, please explain the difference between Rh negative C and D type.
Difference between, pardon?
The Rh negative C and D type, because I've heard the C and D type are the worrisome strains.
That comes that is a different case of ABO incompatibility and income positive. Otherwise, the patient is Rh negative. That D antigen is related to Rh isoimmunization, nothing related to C.
All right. Another Facebook user is asking, does being Rh negative cause miscarriages?
Rh negative causing miscarriages? No, not at all.
Okay, so the just being
Rh negative doesn't, baby will be affected in terms of what we call fetal anemia. Whenever there is a isoimmunization, the baby's hemoglobin will come down. That is called fetal anemia. So we have to detect it by a test called indirect Coombs test. And whenever the titer goes up, we diagnose that the baby is now affected by fetal anemia, or the pregnancy is sensitized.
By when can you tell this? I mean, how do you know that you should run this indirect Coombs test?
After 16 weeks, first the patient should, once the ICT should be done. If it's negative, again at 24 and 28 weeks, we repeat the ICT. Suppose if the ICT is positive, that shows that something is going wrong. The pregnancy is sensitized. At that time, we need to see the serial dilution. We need to see the titer, like how the baby is getting affected, and serial ultrasound we do.
Okay. So, Dr. Ganguly, if you have figured out already at 16 weeks that there is something going wrong, so when you give the first dose at 28 weeks, is it enough to protect the baby? Between 16 weeks to 28 weeks, does the baby get impacted negatively?
No. See, the thing is, 16 weeks, if the patient is ICT positive, there's no role of anti-D. Anti-D is only given to a mother who will be ICT negative, where there is no sensitization at all, where there is no isoimmunization. Once the pregnancy is already affected, the management totally changes. Now I have to see when can I deliver the baby, how safely can I deliver the baby. If the ICT is already positive, I have to look for the fetal hemoglobin. If the fetal hemoglobin is going down, I have to give intrauterine transfusion. Then at a particular level, I have to deliver the baby. Anti-D, 28 weeks anti-D is given only for prophylaxis, and that too ICT will be negative, and then the patient will get anti-D at 28 weeks.
So my question then is that after my first child, you gave me the dose, right? After delivery, you gave me the dose. So isn't that sufficient to cover me in my second pregnancy? Why do I need it again at 28 weeks?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I told. Some hemorrhage, some kind of fetal-maternal hemorrhage that has occurred in early pregnancy, you never know. So the patient has miscarried, or the patient has taken abortifacient as a OTC, or sometimes it happens. Twice, patient has not. Patient has accidentally conceived. The miscarriage also has occurred. The patient is not at all aware, and the sensitization has taken place.
Because that would give you a clue on what happens to the subsequent pregnancy. And if the partner is Rh negative, is there any cause of concern?
If the partner, can you just repeat the question?
If the partner is Rh negative, is there any cause of concern? Is there a need to plan the treatment?
Like logic says it should not be, right? Logic says, but again, here the genetic, like if the partner is heterozygous, the baby can be positive. If the partner is heterozygous, there's something called genetics again comes into play. Again, there is something called disputed paternity. That is also one thing. Patient might not disclose, or there might be a disputed paternity. It's always good to go according to the guidelines, get it ICT test done. If negative, give NTD and then proceed.
So then, would you say this
Not to rely on husband's blood group?
Then would you say that ICT test becomes mandatory for all women who are Rh negative?
Mandatory.
Sorry, Dr. Ganguly, could you repeat your answer, please?
Yeah, definitely mandatory. 16 weeks, 24 weeks, 28 weeks. ICT negative, give NTD. If ICT is positive, no role of NTD. Think the pregnancy is already isoimmunized, proceed accordingly.
All right. We have another question coming in from a Facebook user. Does knowing your partner's blood group type before marriage help in avoiding this condition?
That's what I say. How will it help you? Partner might be heterozygous. There might be disputed paternity. If you are very sure, then yes, you can skip once after delivery. If the baby is Rh negative, that time you can skip the dose of NTD if the baby's blood group is positive. But at 28 weeks, you have to take the NTD because you don't know the baby's blood group when the fetus is in utero.
All right. Dr. Ganguly, another question is, as the condition is preventable, if it is diagnosed on time, how effective is the NTD injection in preventing the disorder? Are there any side effects to it?
NTD is very, very effective. That's why the isoimmunization has come down. The incidence has come down to 0.1 to 0.2%. And I must say that in last 5 to 6 years, I have seen hardly 2 or 3 cases of isoimmunization just because of the role of NTD.
All right. And in your experience, how many mothers are being given the NTDs on a monthly basis?
We try to give NTD for every mother. We advise for every mother whose baby comes to be Rh positive within 72 hours. But sometimes it happens that if the patient gets absconded due to some reason, if the patient is lost to follow up, we can't give NTD, but we generally advise for each and every patient after checking for baby's blood group within 72 hours.
Okay, and you at post-birth, you would do the blood check of the baby
check baby, and then give and advise NTD for each and every patient. Some home deliveries and in rural setups, still we see patients where they are they don't opt for institutional delivery. Sometimes the patient misses NTD in those cases. In such cases, even if the patient comes within 28 days of delivery and the patient is found to be Rh negative, some benefit they get by taking NTD injection. So we offer them also.
All right. Dr. Ganguly, another question that is coming is, can Rh factor incompatibility cause hemolytic anemia?
That is called, whenever there is fetal anemia, that is called hemolytic disease of newborn, HDFN. It's the same thing. Whenever there is a isoimmunization, the baby's hemoglobin will come down. That is only called hemolytic disease of newborn.
All right. And when is this diagnosed? I mean, during like you said that, if at 16 weeks you found out that the mother is already sensitive, then you can't give an entity then you have to manage the pregnancy. So,
Right.
what is the management so that the baby stays safe?
We have to serially see the dilution titer of ICT. When it
Hmm.
comes 1 is to 16, the titer is the critical titer is 1 is to 16. Whenever the
Okay.
titer reaches 1 is to 16, we do serial ultrasound. What ultrasound? It's to look for fetal anemia. How do we look for fetal anemia? By looking at the blood flow in middle cerebral artery of fetus. That is
Hmm.
the way how we detect the fetal anemia. And then
Okay.
in utero, when the fetus in utero, we can give intrauterine blood transfusion if the hematocrit falls below 30%, hematocrit of the fetus.
Okay. And how do you diagnose the hematocrit of the fetus?
It's like ultrasound guided. You have to take the blood, you have to check
Hmm.
for the hematocrit, fetal anemia, and then you have to transfuse the blood through the same guidance, ultrasound guidance, chordocentesis.
Right. Dr. Ganguly, then does this, condition where your child has got anemia lead to early deliveries as well? Is that also an option?
Yeah, definitely. When the fetus, if we can salvage the fetus, if you have crossed the 34 weeks with all possible transfusion and other things, then we give steroids, and sometimes the fetus need to be delivered prematurely if the fetus is not doing well in utero.
Because of this condition,
Yeah,
right?
right. There is
So
certain
now,
condition called hydrops. If the fetus develops hydrops, if the fetal there is a lot of fetal anemia and the fetus is not doing well, we have to take out the baby. Then
Dr. Ganguly, what is this hydrops?
hydrops, it's a kind of fetal anemia. Well, the fetus will swell up. Hydrops means just swelling
Okay.
up. There's a
Okay.
hydropic degeneration. This has happened because there is fetal anemia. The
Mhm.
hemoglobin is less and the baby is gradually swelling up. Even after giving blood transfusion, the baby intrauterine, I'm mentioning about in
Mm.
utero blood transfusion in the
Mm.
antenatal period. If the fetus is not doing well, we have to take out the baby by doing an emergency cesarean section and then again transfuse the blood.
All right. One question being asked by Facebook users: what is the symptom of RH factor? Is it a disease? I mean,
No, it's not at
I
all
think
a
the fact symptoms.
no, nothing like symptom. It's not a disease. You just go and check your blood group. That's it. It's so simple. Blood group and typing. Just check it. Everybody should know their blood group beforehand. Why for
And
pregnancy?
they,
There might be some accident. You might need blood anytime. Might be
hmm,
there is some road traffic accident. So you must know your blood group every time.
all right. And this is certainly not a disease, right? Having
Right.
a negative blood group is not a disease, right?
Right. Not at all.
All right. Can this be, would you say that this is preventable? All the complications that come up in pregnancy, uh, is this preventable?
Yes,
You said the first,
definitely preventable. And only one thing, take a shot of NTD injection. That's
okay,
100% effective and very preventable.
right. But for that, you should know that, there should be awareness about your blood group and,
Yes.
uh, you should know that you should take it immediately after delivery.
After delivery and also before any abortion, after any miscarriage, any abortion, any kind of surgical procedure you undergo in pregnancy, you must take a shot of NTD.
All right. Even if you're not planning a pregnancy, should you take it or only if you're
Yes,
planning a
yes,
pregnancy?
you should. You never know. You might plan in next 2 3 years. Might be you are not planning now, but you might change your mind later on. It's
Mhm.
always better to take.
Right. So, you said that intrauterine blood transfusion is given to the fetus if the hydrops develops. Now, immediately after delivery, are there any risk of complications for the
There
fetus?
are,
And
yes,
how do you manage?
there are what we call that hemolytic disease of the newborn that I said.
Mm.
There might be fetal anemia, and another thing is jaundice, pathological jaundice. The bilirubin might cross the brain, that is called kernicterus, and the patient and the baby might land up in critical scenario in that time if we don't diagnose it beforehand.
And what is the management of this condition once the child
It's
is
again
out?
transfusion. In utero, it is transfusion in antenatal period. Once the baby comes out, you see the baby's hemoglobin is very less or the jaundice is increasing. Again, the management is same, exchange transfusion.
And how often does this transfusion have to happen? I mean, I'm trying to understand for the newborn child, how long does he have to stay in the hospital?
Depends. If the baby is improving with one or two blood transfusion, then it's well and good. If not, if the bilirubin has crossed the brain and there are other effects, then baby might need to stay in an ICU for a long time also. It
Right,
depends on the level of the isoimmunization.
right. Dr. Gangli, in your practice, you said that you see patients who are completely unaware of this condition and, they don't know what it leads to also. So are they open and accepting of this anti-D or do they resist this?
I think somewhat they resist, and it depends on the level of awareness, level of education. Sometimes, in still in rural setup, we see lot of home deliveries. They are totally unaware of the conditions that are going on, and I think we need to educate them. We
Mhm.
still need to educate lot of people.
All right. But this will only happen if they present themselves to you, right?
It's definitely.
Okay. And one thing is the lack of awareness and people, not coming to institutional care. But when they present themselves to institutional care, do they then resist this or do they trust the doctor and go ahead with the injection?
Most of them, I think most of them, they trust the doctor and they take. Another thing is, in private setups, in a government setup the cost is not a factor. In private
Mm.
setup, sometimes cost is a factor. Patients, they might risk. We have seen few patients, they might resist, no, we need not to take, and it's quite costly and will be leaving after delivery. Sometimes they leave against medical advice. That again creates a problem, but the incidence has gone down a lot after this anti-D injection.
Right. Dr. Ganguly, if, I'm a RH negative woman with a partner who has RH positive blood and I want to plan a pregnancy, what should be the steps I should take? What are the things that I should discuss with my doctor?
Whenever you conceive, and whenever you, first of all, whenever you conceive, you should go for a normal antenatal checkup and the routine investigations what we give in first trimester of pregnancy, the routine investigations. If at all there is a miscarriage, or if at all there is a episode of bleeding in pregnancy, that time you must report to your doctor and take anti-D injection. Even if certain amount of bleeding threatened abortion or any kind of bleeding in pregnancy, anytime you must take
Hmm.
anti-D injection as a protective shot.
All right. And during the course of the reproductive life of a woman, how often would she need to take anti-D?
No, not out of pregnancy, only during pregnancy. Pregnancy,
Okay.
miscarriage, ectopic pregnancy, any adverse event related to pregnancy and other things.
Mhm. Right. You said that you can do the intrauterine transfers. How safe is this during a pregnancy? What is the impact on the mother, on the child? Could you elaborate on this?
This is very safe in the hands of fetal medicine experts. This idea of giving, this process of giving intrauterine blood transfusion is done by experts on fetal medicine, and they do it under ultrasound guidance. They select the umbilical cord, take the umbilical vein, and then transfuse the blood. This is very, very safe in experts' hand. But any procedure has got some amount of procedure related complications, that is somewhere around 0.5 to 1% chances of miscarriage is always there, or chance
Mhm.
of bleeding is always there.
Right. But just because you are RH negative doesn't mean you'll have an abortion,
No,
right?
no, 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 never, never.
Right. And you said you'll conduct the test at 16 weeks. Is that the first time a test is done?
Yeah,
Or
right, first time, first time. That is the first time. At 16 weeks, you should undergo ICT. If
Hmm.
negative, again repeat at 24 and then again at 28 weeks.
Right. And if the TTS keep going up, then you only manage the pregnancy? Do you give the anti-D at 28 weeks? What is the plan then?
If the ICT is positive, if the titer is going up, there is no role of anti-D at all. Anti-D is given only to protect the isoimmunization. Once the isoimmunization has taken place and the ICT is positive, the management is entirely different.
All right. And there you said that you will do the ultrasound and you will
Right, ultrasound, detect the level of fetal anemia, give intrauterine blood transfusion if needed to the fetus, and then select a proper time and then deliver the fetus. That is the management.
So basically what you're saying is that to protect your child, every mother who is Rh negative should be aware about this. And after her pregnancy, she should ensure that she takes the anti-D shot.
Right.
Right. And after having taken the anti-D shot, once she plants the child again, then again at 28 weeks, she'll take a subsequent shot, right?
She'll take.
And if she does these two, which is one shot immediately after delivery and one shot at 28 weeks, there'll be no risk to the baby.
No risk to the baby, right.
All right. So it is our endeavor to try and, increase the awareness amongst people so that, cases where the fetus is getting impacted because the mother didn't know, the mother didn't seek the right treatment should not arise. And Dr. Ganguly, thank you so much for joining us and, answering all the questions that you have. If you could leave us with some words for all those who are watching on what is the most important thing they should consider and how they should keep themselves abreast and aware of things, I request you to please say that.
First thing, get your blood group tested. You must know your blood group every time, irrespective of you are conceiving or not, irrespective of you want to conceive or not. First thing. Second thing is you should always know your HPLC status, also your thalassemia status. That is also important. That is not related to this method, but I would definitely advise all the mother who wishes to conceive to know their HPLC status beforehand. If you are found Rh negative in pregnancy or out of pregnancy, whenever you conceive, don't take any abortifacients on your own. Go consult a doctor and then take. Because what happens if you take abortifacients and you miscarry, then you don't know what has happened, what amount of fetal-maternal hemorrhages occurred. So it's always better to take a shot of anti-D even after a case of spontaneous abortion or if you are taking a medical abortion.
All right, Dr. Ganguly, thank you so much for joining us today and helping answer so many questions in the show today. We're very grateful to you for sparing the time to join us. So that was Dr. Ganguly from Kolkata, answering all your questions on Rh negative blood group. If you have any more questions, you can send them to us through the WhatsApp tab on the Facebook page. You can click it and use the WhatsApp button on our page. And don't forget to follow us to stay updated on all the concerns about your health and well-being. This program was supported by Bharat Serums and Vaccines Limited under its Public Awareness Initiative. We'll be back with another special show on Rh negative incompatibility. Same time next week. Do follow us on Facebook to get all the updates of our upcoming programs. Do keep sending us the questions and we will try to include them in our show. Till then, stay at home and take care. Goodbye and see you soon and happy Diwali.